Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing. I am here today with this labor of love initial box. It does stand up. Obviously in the camera you can't really see it standing up, but it is a full functioning box. So there you go. Mine's still drying, so to be careful. Now I saw one of these boxes at, I don't know, one of the stores, and they wanted $9.99 for this box, and I was like, yeah, I can make that. It is a labor of love, so if you can get a coupon and buy one of these for half price, go for it. But we are gonna do this. Now mine looks a little weird right here because I thought I could cut corners, and you can't. When I measured the top of my T, this piece right here on the top of the box was slightly too small, and I was like, meh, it'll work. Yeah, no, it didn't. So my box is a little bumped under, but I mean, I didn't care. Like, unless I pointed it out, you probably didn't notice it. I added these gorgeous flowers on there and some gold little bead things. In the box, you can fill it with whatever you want. So I'm going to show you with using my letter M, okay? You're going to need two, excuse me, two pieces of the same exact size. If you want to make your top slightly bigger to make your life a little bit easier, go for it. I didn't find the need to do that, but you definitely can. The thing that I forgot to do was to cut out the T's in this case before I added all the sides, and so I had to trace my T, and that was just like a nightmare. But if you're using a cutting machine, you know, obviously cut out your two cardstock letters. You need two of the same letter, and then make one slightly smaller for your main matting. Okay, so because I did cut mine out on my portrait, but you don't have to. You can use you can print an image from Google. You can, you know, your Word document, whatever. You do not have to use your cutting machines to do this. So I closed out my design mat before I cut my matting piece. Sorry, I need water. So what I'm going to do is just trace it onto the paper that I want, and it's just going to be the same size, and I'm okay with that. So my M is going to be, you know what, I did not look in this paper collection to see if I had another piece of that paper. And guess what? I don't. Oof. Okay, let me go find a piece of paper. Okay, so my M is going to be in this really soft purple. Because I feel like it matches. And one of the flowers in this flower pack has this purple in it. So, yeah, check your paper before you make these. So I'm just tracing my letter. Again, if you had your cutting machine, cut it out. Can I? Oof. Alright, I'm starving, so it's not, you know, life is not lifing right now. Okay, so anyway, I'm just going to trace the other one, and I'm going to cut on the inside of the line. Actually, what I'm going to do is just kind of cheat here. I'm going to score my paper at 6, and I'm going to fold it and cut 2 at the same time. That's what I'm going to do. Ooh, it is right on that line. going with my scissors. You can go with your paper trimmer if you want, but I'm cutting inside the line to make it slightly smaller. Obviously with the cutting machine it's going to be perfect. Hand cut, it's not going to be perfect, but it's not going to matter. Because there's a lot going on with these boxes, and these tiny, tiny little imperfections are not going to be seen. So we are not going to stress ourselves. Again, I'm cutting inside the line. And now I'm going to go ahead and cut this. And I have my 2 M's. Perfect. Obviously, certain letters are going to be a lot easier. I don't know if I already said that, but the T was easy. The M is going to be pretty easy. So see, mine is still bigger than my box, but I'm okay with that. I'm not going to try to hand cut it, make it smaller and all that. It's just going to be the same size, and I am fine with that. Because with the T, I tried to make sure that it was smaller, and then I wanted like this whole like black siding effect and whatnot, and it was a lot. I'm not going to lie. It was a lot. So this one is not going to have all that. And we are going to be okay. Alright, so for your, I'm using 110-pound cardstock. I would suggest to use a cereal box or something like that that is thicker if you're giving this for a gift, because it is, I mean, I guess it's not flimsy. Once I mat it and everything, it's pretty sturdy. So you can use 110-pound cardstock or cereal box. But the next thing you're going to do is you're going to cut a bunch of 1.5 inch for the bottom strips to size. So I'm going to cut this to 1.5. And I'm going to measure the length. So this is just under 6. So I'm going to cut it at 6 because I can always cut it off. And it should be the same as that for the other side. So I know I need 2 of those. So I'm going to go in with a piece of paper somewhere. Oh my gosh. And I know I need 2 at 6. And this is going to help you with the lid and the bottom. So I'm just going to cut 2 at 6. And right now I'm cutting everything by 1.5, so it'll be two pieces that are 6 by 1.5. Again, we're using scraps to do this. It's a labor of love, guys. This is going to be a long video. Okay, by 6. Alright, so I got my 2 by 6. And then now I need to worry about these inner measurements. So we're going to need 2 that are 4.5, because that's going to be this piece right here and this piece right here. Now I need this length. This is a diagonal, so this one is 4 5/8. So that's going to be this diagonal and this diagonal. Now I need the piece to go here. So it's going to be (1 3/8). Now I haven't written how many pieces I'm going to need because I'm going to measure all of these, and maybe all of these are the same. Of course they're not. So you just need 1. Alright, this next one we need 1.5. So 2 at 1.5. 2 at 2.5. So the 2.5 is going to be slightly too big, which is fine. You could always cut it. When it's too small, that's when it's a problem, that I learned the hard way. Because like I said, when I did my top box, I cut this just a little bit too small. I was like, man, it'd be fine. But I forgot I got to shove the bottom box in there, and that gave me that sunken in piece. But like I said, I don't mind it. It's for me. You can't see it when it's standing up on your desk because you can only see this part of it. So I wasn't too worried about it. But if I'm giving it as a gift, I'm going to make sure that it's perfect. Alright, so these insides diagonals are 3 3/4. Alright, so that's all of our measurements for our letter M. So you're going to go ahead and take your 1.5 inch strips and you're going to cut them accordingly. So I'll just cut, I'm not going to do all these measurements with you guys on camera because you get the gist. We'll be here all day. Alright, so 4.5, 4.5. Okay. So I'm going to stack mine. I'm going to do this color. I did 1, 2, 1, 2, and these are by 1.5. Let's see. I can do 2.5. Okay. So 1 and 2. This is probably 1.5 right here, which that would work out great. So yeah, so just use your scraps and go for it. Oh, these are almost 1.5. And just cut out all your pieces accordingly to your little guide. And obviously every letter is going to be a different size, depending on what font you use, depending on whatever. I suggest using a boxy font because it's easier to make these sharp edges on the box. You can curl your paper to make fancy curled like bubble letters, but I wasn't going to do all that. So I'm going to finish cutting out my measurements. Okay, so all of my pieces are cut out, and now this is going to be your best friend, and it's going to be this, sorry, I can see this on my camera, but not in real life. Your sticky tape, your cello tape, scotch tape, whatever you have, crystal clear, transparent tape. This is going to be your friend, okay? Now, I did use my Kathy or the King P3 tape because this is a super strong tape. You can use duct tape, you can use any tape you want to make it super strong borders. But I did it both ways. The first time I did it with the scotch tape, and then I cut my P3 tape accordingly, and it was super quick and easy. The second one, I was like, I'm not going to do this step with the clear tape. I'm just going to go straight with the PT tape. That was a disaster, okay, because I couldn't see to line it up, and it took longer than doing the two-step process. So whatever way you feel is best for you, please do that. Two-step process is easier for me, but obviously you're going to do what's easiest for you. Okay, so this is what I did. I took my pieces and I put my side hinges, I'm going to call these, no, they're not hinges, they're side pieces. My side piece. I lined up my side piece. I took my clear sticky tape. This one doesn't cut very well because it came from Dollar Tree. I lined it up exact on the edge. Put the tape on half. Oops. put half of the tape on, wind it up, and folded this tape over. Okay, that gave me the perfect edge, the perfect, hinge. Now, if you notice that, say, I tried to do this on purpose, but I couldn't. Say you didn't line it up exactly perfectly, and you have like a massive gap up here and a small gap down here. This cheap tape is so easy just to pull it off and reset it. That is why I'm telling you to use the clear tape first. And also you can see, like, when I measured, it went over. Now I can just trim accordingly. So easy. When I was trying to work with the other tape, obviously it's black tape. I couldn't see it. I couldn't see through it. It was just a nightmare. This is an extra step, but it was worth my aggravation level. Okay, so I prep this one, trim the tape so there's no overhang, and I'm just going to do the same thing. I'm lining mine up with the top, making sure it is all the way. You know what, I got washi tape on this one. I'm too lazy to switch out my mats on my portrait, so I have to use washi tape because it's not sticky anymore. Okay, so line it up and fold it over. Okay, and that one was perfect. Trim away. Good to go. Okay, so now you're just going to go through and do the same to all of your pieces. Okay, so I'm going to show you with this inside piece. Again, I'm going to prep it, and you can pre-prep all your pieces if you want, if that makes it easier on you. To me, it didn't matter. Okay, so the inside pieces are a little bit tricky, but again, you're just going to line it up, and now this time I'm going to line it up with the bottom instead of the top. I'm lining it up with the bottom because I feel like that's just going to be easier. And this is why you want to use a more pliable chipboard or 110-pound cardstock, because if you use a thick chipboard, it's going to be a little bit harder to do this. Okay, see, like this one, I don't know if you can tell, but see how thin that is, and then the bottom is super thick. Somewhere is slipped. So I'm just going to line it back up. And just put it back down. That's why I like the sticky tape, because it was so hard to pull the P3 tape off when I aligned it incorrectly. Alright, so let's go for it. I'm going to show you in here. This piece is that. I think these longer pieces, I mean, you could cut in place or just kind of guess like I am. I'm assuming you could do this part with washi tape too, but I just chose clear because I can see through it. Yes, I could take the time to measure the tape exactly, but for me it's quicker just to cut it with scissors. And you're just doing the same thing. Line it up. Like fold that flap in. Lining it up. I'm going to line it up with the bottom because that's an easier angle than trying to line it up with that top. And we're folding in and folding in. Got a little sticky up there. See what I did there? Fold it in. You know, you may have an easier way to do this. By all means, tell me. We are all crafters. So, okay, great example. Look at this big old huge gap. This is small, that's big. That means somewhere it shifted when I was lining it up. So now I'm just going to redo it. Because I have that easy tape on there, that is easy to pull up and easy to shift, and it's not tearing my paper. Not that I care, because I'm gonna mat it anyway, but yeah, now it's perfect. See that? Okay, so that's pretty much all you're going to do with all the rest of the pieces. You're just gonna why are these the same size? Maybe these are these pieces? I don't know. That should go there. That should go there. I think I cut one too many pieces, but that's okay. So I'm going to go ahead and do this other side. Since you already watched me do this side, I will do the other side. Okay, so I did both of those sides. Now you're just going to continue working the same exact way for all of them. I'm going to go ahead and prep both of these. I wouldn't suggest prepping more than like 2 at a time unless you have like a super huge amount of space, because you know what's going to happen. You are going to stick them to something and lose them. Alright, so this one I'm lining up. It's going to go over a little bit, but that's fine because I'll just cut it off. Okay. Okay, the whole time that I wasn't on camera, I did not mess up any of these. Okay. And then this one, the same thing. Get in there. Sorry, my head's in the camera, but I need to see. Line it up. I'm getting that little piece of tape in the corner in case you're wondering why I did it that way. Actually, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to miter the tape. Now I think of that. Okay, line it up. I'm going to line it up with the bottom. Okay. There we go. I don't know why I was struggling with that. Alright, so there's that, there's that, there's that. You have these. Yes, they're going to fall down. It doesn't matter at this point because your other pieces are going to hold it up. So I'm going to add those 2 pieces there, and then I'm going to add the piece here, and these 2 pieces here and here. But I'm going to do all of that off camera because it's just the same. We're just taping. So I think you kind of got the idea with all the rest of this. Okay, and what I'm doing here on this top part of my M, you see how that line kind of went over because it's curving in right there or slanting in? I'm just going to cut that off. Just that little piece. Oh, I taped it to the other side. Just cutting it off just so it matches. See, so now this piece right here has a little chunk taken out, which will be just fine when you're putting it together. Okay, that's what I want to show you on that. Well, I might as well just do this one too. All right, so you're making sure you have everything lined up. Fold in, flip it over, look at it, take off that little chunk. You know what? Honestly, I don't think you have to, but it's making me feel better to take off that chunk. And we're good to go. Okay, so I'm going to do my bottom pieces of my M. Okay, so we have all of our pieces taped, and now you're just going to go through and tape up your edges. Again, this is why the sticky tape is so much easier than trying to do your good tape first, because it is more pliable. You can take it apart if you didn't make it even, or you know, whatever the case may be. So what I'm going to do is just stick all mine together, and I will go through and cut off any overhang of tape. It is a little bit easier to put the tape on one of the edges first and then add the other piece in. So we're just lining it up, making it a box. And now you're just kind of forcing your box together with this tape. Because this tape is so pliable, you can do that. And like this one, I didn't line it up properly, so I just undid the tape and line it up properly. Now, if you have one of your thicker tapes, it's harder to do that. So that's what I'm saying. Do yourself a favor and use this clear tape and just, you know, force it all together. I think I'm going to do this first before I do that side. Cut off all of your excess tape on the tops. That looks way longer than, oh, see what I did here? I messed up, so I just need to cut the top of that off. I picked the wrong square for that, so it wasn't even with the other box. And so you can just cut it off. But yeah, this is all we're doing. Now you're just going to tape and go. Again, if you're using like a thick chipboard, I don't know if this tape will even stick to thick chipboard. I don't know. You have to use a stronger tape. You can always reinforce this by doubling up if you want to after you're done, but I don't know. I felt the 110-pound cardstock stock was just fine. Alright, I'm going to go through and tape up all of my things. So now you're just taping. I'm going to put tape here. I'll tape this together. You're just taping. Okay, so I just want to discuss a few things as I'm cutting off these sides. Definitely make sure when you're cutting everything is the same height, because I noticed on one of mine that it is not, it was over the 1.5 inches because I was using scraps and I didn't check to make sure that it was 1.5 inches. So you have to pay attention to that. The second thing, I did not need to cut those chunks out because look what happened. But that's okay. And the third thing was I mismeasured something over here, and the good thing about this tape is I can just go in and slice this open and either recut this whole piece or just re-tape it. I don't know what I did. It's this piece right here. So it was off and I didn't like where it was. So I'm going to try to fix it so I don't have to redo all of that. And I think I did. So that's the other great part of having the clear tape. You can clearly see your oopsie-daisy mistakes and you can easily fix it, because at that point, if I had that and I had the good tape on there or the paper hinges or whatever, I wouldn't have been able to fix that little piece. And now my box is perfect. My lid is going to go on perfectly because everything is fixed. Now I'm looking at this and I'm like, wait, that piece is way off too. All right, there we go. So yeah, so that's what I was saying about the clear tape. So that way you can see where you may have made too big of a gap, or, you know, whatever the case may be. But my M is all taped up. It looks good. I think this piece right here, I did make it a little too big, but you know what? I don't have to cut that and replace it, because when I put the good tape on it, I'm just going to push it in. So that's that. So I am going to go ahead and cut my 1-inch strips. Oh my gosh, strips for my lid. I'm going to use the same measurements that we used here. It's going to be 6 by 1, 4.5 by 1, you know, 4 5/8 by 1, because this is by 1.5, and I want my lid to be smaller. You can do the same exact measurements if you want your lid to be a complete tight fit, which actually might be better because then you don't have to mat as much. But because I did this one with a 1-inch lid, I'm going to do my M with a 1-inch lid. So I'm going to cut all my strips for that. Okay, so my camera wasn't recording and I thought it was, but basically all I did was tape everything. I used the clear tape and then the P3 tape, or like I said, you can use any tape you want. I went ahead and started adding my pattern paper, which in this case I'm just using plain cardstock. And so I was working on the lid. I put my big M on there, and then I just cut my strips at 1 inch by whatever our measurements were over here, and I'm just gluing them on just like I did the letter T. You know, nothing too elaborate. I know you probably can't see, but I'm literally just gluing this on. Actually, I think I did mine just slightly under 1 inch because I wanted to have some of that black tape showing to make like the shadow effect like I did on the other box. So yeah, so that's all you're going to decide now is how to decorate. If you used a duct tape or something that already had decoration on it, that would be great too, because then you wouldn't even have to do this step. You just use the tape on all of your sides, wrap it around. You can choose if on the inside if you're going to cover your tape up. I'm not going to. I don't think that's a big deal, especially if you have all your, you know, all your snacks in there. It'll cover it. I mean, you may want it for yours, but I don't mind for mine. And so yeah, so you're just going to keep putting all your pieces on. Just glue and go. That's all you're going to do. And I will do the same. I think that piece goes here. Nope. I don't know where I cut that piece up. I know I'm a little off camera because the way I'm sitting, but I just got back from exercising and I don't feel like moving. So there you have it. Oops. Right. That doesn't even go with that. Alright, I'll have to find that piece later. But yeah, so I'm just going to go ahead and keep adding all your pieces on. Like I said, it is very time consuming. It's definitely a labor of love, but once you get the construction down of the letter, the decorating goes pretty quick. And yeah, Then obviously filling it with whatever you want to fill it with is going to be super quick too. Why is this not all the way up? So I did have a little bit of a struggle with my M. For some reason, my middle was off, and I don't really know why, to be honest, but it was a struggle to make my box fit, and I ended up having to cut these two down to fit over the bottom. So I don't know where I went wrong with that, but I did. But thankfully it was a quick fix. I put this one too far down. It wasn't covering the white edge like I wanted it to, so I just peeled it off because the glue was still a little bit wet. And now I'm just going to re-add it. I probably should taper it. I think this is where the piece of tape was just giving me fits. Alright, there we go. For no reason, just wanted to give me fits. So yeah, so it was kind of easy to fix. At first I thought I was going to have to put the now my glue is giving me fits. I thought I was going to have to put the smaller size box on the inside of the larger box. Just because it didn't want to go on. Oh, come on, this one's giving me fits too. But then I recognized that it was something wrong with the middle piece here. And so I just trimmed it, and then it went in just fine. So I'm going to continue matting on both pieces. Hold on, I'm doing this, and I'm going to show you what it looks like without the matting pieces in just a second. Okay, cool. So this is kind of how it looks taped up. I just taped up all the sides. It just kind of reinforced the box, made it a little bit heavier. Like I said, I would have preferred to use cereal box, but we didn't have any. So I used the 110. And it's fine. Let me finish matting. Okay, so I got everything all matted. I realized I forgot to put the P3 tape here and here. I don't care, to be honest, because this is for me, or even if I give it away, it's not going to really matter. But like I was saying before, something went wonky with my box, and so I have to be very careful when I'm putting it on. I also have to make sure that nothing is too long. I'm just trimming off this little bit. I didn't realize that piece was longer than what it should have been, but because I wasn't exactly precise with mine, I just have to gently force it on. There we go. There we go. And there we go. And like I said, my middle piece got a little weird, and so I have to kind of force mine. But it is okay. It's perfect. It looks great. I do have a little bit of dip on the top here, but that is because I had that error in the middle piece. Alright, so it looks good. Everything looks good. Right, so now what we're going to do is just go ahead and decorate it. Here is my tea. I got these flowers from Amazon. They're just called RUIDKUN fake flowers. And so I'm just going to pull out I was thinking about these ones when I picked this color. Okay, so I don't know, now I'm thinking I may put a little bit more peach because that there is peach, but I don't know. I'm honestly kind of over these boxes. I've been working on them like a tiny bit here and there for the last like couple of days because I've been super busy and I haven't had time to like just sit down and do this project. So, you know, when you have an idea and you're trying to get it done and you just can't. Alright, so I want my flowers to look nice in the stand-up position. So I'm going to stand this up and just kind of put it here. And then I might just add yep. I really like the look of that. So I'm just going to add hot glue and hot glue. I don't really, not that I don't care, but I don't mind what it looks like underneath. I just want to make sure it looks really good standing up because they are going to be standing up. Alright, and I want something here. Let me see. Alright. I don't like that there. Oh my gosh, these glue strings are going to be the death of me right now. My glue, I think, is too hot. I need something right here, but this ain't it. So this is pretty much all I did. Yep, that's perfect. Because I bought these flowers for the spring mystery hop that was hosted by Tamika Morris. And so, no, that's not it either. Okay. That's going to be it. I bought these and I thought they were smaller. Like all the reviews, like the 1 stars were like, oh, they were too small. And I needed small flowers. And I was like, oh, that's perfect for me. But as you can see, they're not small. So I don't know what boxes they got, or boxes, what flowers they received. But mine are not small. So these are huge. Look how huge this is. Like, these things are huge. I got a ton of them. So I don't know what to do with them. So I'll just add them. This is like my favorite one right here. So, yeah, so that's just pretty much all you do. I have a couple of these little ones that are gorgeous. Alright, so I'm just going to continue decorating this and we'll see the final. Okay, so it's been about an hour because I had to go do something for my mom and then I ate lunch and I forgot. And my hot glue gun has been on this whole time and it like almost burnt through my silicone mat. It didn't burn, it just turned yellow. So it is very hot and kind of melted a little bit of my paper. But it's okay, I'm going to get this done. Just kind of, yeah. And like the hot glue is so hot, it's like it's not drying. So I just gotta kind of wait. But I think this is all I'm gonna decorate it with because I'm very clean and simple. And I think this is beautiful. I'm gonna add a couple of pearls, I think. kind of want more, but I don't want to go too much. I don't know. 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 Let me pause this and see what I want. Okay, I got it done, and I'm honestly just trying to decide if I want to add one more gem there, but I don't think I want to, because then I'll have 8, and that'll make me feel weird because I'm an odds person. So here she is, gorgeous. I love it. I added these little flowers. I put that one in there. I added these. Now, when it's standing up from the aerial view, it's not as pretty because, like I said, I have that dip in there. But when you're at your desk and it's standing up, I'm seeing this. So I'm okay with that. I was going to continue adding, but I thought it was just too much. But I absolutely love how this turned out. My little namesake boxes that I didn't want to pay, you know, $10 each. So that would have been 20 bucks. And I, you know, paying for the convenience sometimes is a little bit easier, but I made it. So anyway, I hope you guys make some letterboxes. Tag me in your videos. I'd love to support you, and I appreciate your support. So again, thanks for watching, guys. Bye.